Hello there, my name is Triple S, and in this video I'm going to point-by-point review Season 2, Episode 4 of the Fallout TV show. Let's begin. Point number 1. Seeing an airship involved in the Battle of Anchorage really got me thinking that if Operation Anchorage had been a Fallout 4 DLC, General Constantine Chase would have included airships all over the place in the simulation, just like he included the incorrect version of Vertibird and the unrealistic Chinese Chimera tanks.
Chimera tanks? Come on, man! Even you have to admit these are sheer fantasy.
Point number 2. Neat to see the T-45 power armor and actually how much worse it is compared to the T-51 and T-60 series that replaced it. What with all of its design flaws as mentioned by Bud and Cooper in Season 1 Episode 6, and how it craps out under gunfire compared to when we saw Xander in his T-60 armor shrugging off being continuously shot at by a Securitron in the last episode. Also, I like to think Cooper's armor locking up and falling over is due to the durability on the pieces running out under such prolonged fire. Just like how in Fallout 4 the T-45 parts don't have that much durability, requiring frequent repair. Point number 3. Holy fudge, a pre-Great War DEATHCLAW? So many casual Fallout fans are probably quite confused by this. Maybe even thinking the entire time this was just a nightmare Ghoul Cooper was having about the Battle of Anchorage with a DEATHCLAW being incorporated into it. But pre-Great War DEATHCLAWs have been hinted to be a thing ever since the time of Fallout 2, with the official strategies and secrets guide for that game saying, DEATHCLAWs were originally created to replace humans during close combat search and destroy missions. They were derived from mixed animal stock and then refined by the Master using genetic manipulation, with the Master of course being the main antagonist of the first Fallout game. I'm curious as to what his refinements were, since this pre-Great War DEATHCLAW seems pretty much the same as the current DEATHCLAW design first introduced in Fallout 4. Also, I love that they made a practical DEATHCLAW and didn't just make it all entirely CGI. It makes the scene of Flashback Cooper coming face to face with a DEATHCLAW feel more realistic. Point number 4. So I thought the mention of Harkness having a spare set of armor was a setup for both Maximus and Thaddeus to return wearing armor, but with only Thaddeus wearing a helmet to hide his wrinkly face. Guess I was just reading too much into it. Point number 5. Is this meant to be the show's adaptation of the Sunset Sarsaparilla headquarters location from New Vegas the game, turning it from a brick and mortar building into a bunch of connected warehouses and not having the giant bottle be the entrance? Point number 6. Hope the kids can survive on their own long enough until Thaddeus returns. He is going to return to them, right? He didn't just risk his life to try and stop Harkness from killing the Ghoul kids only to abandon and forget about them all, right? Point number 7. Damn, the NCI remnants must really be struggling if they're having to resort to using buff out of all chems to get people back on their feet, and they gave Lucy such an addictive drug without her consent, probably got Cooper's, and let her leave without warning her she might end up addicted, which I find to be kinda fudged up if I'm being honest. Point number 8. So this episode neither confirms nor denies if Cooper told the truth or lied about the location of the NCI remnants to Lacerta Leggett and his Caesar, though I could see it going either way of Cooper choosing to do the good thing for once and lying to Lacerta, or he didn't lie to Lacerta but knew setting off the dynamite and starting a battle between the two legions would give the NCI remnants enough time to help Lucy and then pack up and leave. So that if Lacerta's legion won and they arrived at the location Cooper told them about, they'd find evidence of the NCR having just recently been there, and won't set out to track Cooper down in revenge like they might do if they found out he'd given them bad information. Point number 9. I get what Rodriguez means when she asks Lucy if she's looking for someone because she cares about them or hates them, but hating someone inherently involves caring about them when you think about it, because if you didn't care about someone, you wouldn't hate them because you don't care about them. Does that make sense? But, like I said, I get what Rodriguez meant with her implying someone you love or someone you hate. Point number 10. If you notice Cooper's hand moving kinda weird here as he and Lucy get back on the road, it seems like when this shot was filmed, Walton Goggins was holding a leash for the dog playing dog meat, and it's been edited out in post. I guess the dog wasn't behaving and hitting its mark, but she's barely in the close-up shot, so I don't know why they didn't just shoot it without the dog. Point number 11. Wow, Cooper is such an enabler. Definitely do not want to go to him for support in recovering. He'd probably tell you to avoid going to rehab too. Point number 12. Okay, kinda doubting my theory that it was Dane who contacted the Commonwealth Brotherhood, resulting in Harkness showing up. Since they seem to be more concerned about not wanting things to get worse, and Harkness showing up definitely made things worse. So that leaves the question, if Dane didn't contact the Commonwealth Brotherhood, then how did they find out about Quintus's intentions? Point number 13. Hang on, I'm sorry. Future Enterprise Ventures? FEV? Forced evolutionary virus? How can FEV possibly play into the experiment of the Tri-Vault? With the mention of Roger Maxson putting a stop to the FEV experiments on humans in the last episode, could that have been foreshadowing to what we will see Norm's group find with Phase 2? Some FEV testing facility with vats of green goo and possibly maybe even our first look at living supermutants? Supermutants that are intended to be the final outcome of the Tri-Vault experiment. Super managers, as Norm said, that are supermutants? Point number 14. I wonder why Betty phrases it as the company we work for, rather than just saying Vault-Tec. With Hank being hinted at possibly working for Mr. House in episode 1, it has me wondering if Vault-Tec might not be the ones running the Tri-Vault. Point number 15. It seems despite being feral, these ghoulified kings still retain some memories of when they weren't, kind of like early Walking Dead zombies. What with them popping their collars and moving their bodies in an Elvis-like fashion. Also phrasing Lucy, saying it's fine to shoot the kings since they're just ghouls. Cooper's also a ghoul, you dingus. She probably just meant it in the sense that they're feral, and I doubt Cooper took it too personally. Point number 16. Love the inclusion of a shot similar to that of the opening of New Vegas with an NCR veteran ranger sniping a fiend from atop the fabulous New Vegas sign. Only that ain't a fiend Lucy headshots, but looks to actually be the character the King from New Vegas, the game, the leader of the Kings. Or at the very least, someone wearing his clothes if it's not the exact same guy. But if it was in fact him, then the King is dead, long live the King. Point number 17. I like how Lucy gives the Vault Boy thumbs up to Cooper. You know, the guy who inspired it, as we saw in Season 1, Episode 3. Point number 18. So we learn here that the Elder of the Yosemite Brotherhood is called McCrae, and she names drops an Elder Maxson. So unless Arthur had any secret relatives, she must be referring to him, meaning he's still alive. Which means if the show is going with an ending for Fallout 4 and not just leaving the conflicts of its factions in a stalemate, then that would make either the Brotherhood or Minutemen endings the only canonical options. Since they're the only ones where Maxson lives and the Pridwin isn't destroyed, if you choose not to shoot down the Pridwin when siding with the Minutemen. Point number 19. Pretty fudging stupid for Quintus to not keep a guard on the Cold Fusion tech 24/7. I'm actually surprised it wasn't stolen earlier by one of the other chapters, honestly. Also, I wonder what Dane is looking at off screen when they go to grab the Cold Fusion tech. Is it just all the fusion cores the tech is charging? Point number 20. I find it funny Maximus saying he doesn't have a plan, that he doesn't choose to do the things he has to do, they just keep happening. It feels very much like he's the player control character of a Fallout game. Getting into random quests without realizing and being forced to go through its objectives to complete or fail it by using his go-to method of killing someone. Quite different to Lucy trying to stick to her main quest line, but sometimes getting distracted by side quests when it seems for like a good enough reason. And then you got Cooper, who's a veteran player who knows from experience how to avoid starting quests he doesn't want to get involved with. Point number 21. So here we learn the identity of the Brotherhood member in power armor who found Maximus after the nuking of Shady Sands was Quintus himself. But what I find interesting is the parallel between both him and Maximus finding a child of an enemy of the Brotherhood and choosing to show mercy. Quintus here though can't see past his faithfulness to the Brotherhood Codex to see that Maximus performed the exact same act he did many years ago, and instead allows his racism against ghouls to lead him to denounce his past actions, brand Maximus a heretic, and try to murder him. Point number 22.
You do not have to apologize for not killing someone.
Great line here from Dane, I approve. If this episode was a chapter in a Kindle book, that line would be highlighted for sure. Point number 23. This airship getting shot down is giving me flashbacks to shooting down the Pridwin with the Minutemen in Fallout 4. Though, which chapter's airship was shot down is the question. And more important questions, which I realised I should have been asking earlier, are: is this airship we're seeing in Season 2 the same one from Season 1? And if it is, since it has the name Pridwin on it in Season 1, does that mean it's the same Pridwin from Fallout 4? And if it is the same Pridwin from Fallout 4, why is it here now under the control of Quintus and not back at the Commonwealth under the control of Arthur Maxson? And if it was Quintus's airship we see crash and burn in this episode, does that mean we just saw the canonical destruction of the Pridwin from Fallout 4? Point number 24. While the actual shocking thing here with Chet finding Steph's ID card is that it reveals to him Steph was born before the Great War and not in Vault 31, I think it's more hilarious that it's the idea of her being Canadian rather than American that is the awful shocking truth. Steph being Canadian though does explain her behaviour in regards to others and specifically to Betty earlier in this episode, saying since Betty's from Solvang, she doesn't know how bad things can actually get. Because Steph does, what with having lived through the annexation of Canada by America, which was very much not a peaceful process. Also, assuming the ID Chet finds didn't come from Hank's keepsake box Steph demanded from Betty, I wonder if the contents of said box have any relation to Steph's Canadian past and why she wants them now. Or could it possibly have something to do with future Enterprise ventures? Point number 25. When Lucy took out all the ghoulified kings just outside the strip, it was day, but now when she and Cooper enter the strip, it's all of a sudden night. What happened? Did they spend the rest of the day looting every single corpse thoroughly? Or were they hit with the very long load times that were common when the New Vegas game first came out? Point number 26. Love the parallels between the flashback opening and this ending with its DEATHCLAWs. The episode being called Demon in the Snow and past Cooper seeing a DEATHCLAW in the flames of the destroyed vertibird. And here he and Lucy see a DEATHCLAW in the fake flames of the destroyed Gamorra Casino. Both demons emerging from hellfire. Along with, of course, the phrase okie dokie being said in both instances. How Cooper, Lucy and Dogmeat will deal with this DEATHCLAW in the next episode, I can't wait to find out. Thank you all everyone for watching. If you enjoyed the video, and I hope you did, give it a like to let me know, and if you want to see more then make sure to subscribe. Thank you all so much again for watching. I've been Triple S, you've all been amazing, and I shall see you all in the next video.